Hello and welcome to our Getting Paid course. In this course, I plan to go over what happened, how we got here, and we're going to walk you all the way through to closing to make sure that you get paid. If you get the correct corresponding language in the purchase agreement and the buyer provided compensation form signed, you've got a transaction that is as bulletproof for you getting paid and as transparent for the buyer and all parties involved as it possibly could be. Getting a buyer agency agreement is not a big deal. And now that it's mandatory, okay, people across the industry are going to be doing it.
We came up with this for states where a buyer agency agreement isn't required under state law. It's a little bit easier to potentially get signed than that contractual obligation, but it is making sure we comply with the requirement of having some sort of written agreement.
We're no longer using MLS to post anything to do with money. Our realtors, no matter what state, what area, what MLS, we're forbidding them from offering compensation in the MLS. So your fiduciary duties of loyalty, confidentiality, disclosure, obedience to the client, reasonable care and diligence, accounting, none of these changed. So you have an obligation to inquire about the compensation. Is compensation being offered? Is it not being offered? Are they steadfast against it? You want buyers to be attracted to your home. You don't want buyers to be deterred from your home. But when you look at our listing agreement, we've changed the nature of it. It changes the way that commissions are working.
Now, this was a fundamental shift for me as well, much different than the way we used to approach these conversations with sellers. But when we put our heads together, we think it's the most beneficial way, the easiest way to have some of these conversations. I'm just curious, what do you charge? What's this going to cost me?
Okay, so the way that I do this is I charge X% for my listing brokerage side of the compensation. My job here today, my duty to you, is to do everything in your best interest, to sell your home for as much as possible on the terms that you want. It is the consumer's choice. Buyers drive the process, sellers drive this process. Buyers always, almost always, choose the path of least financial resistance. Don't make crazy comments out of moments of frustration, because that's not a way to talk. We're professionals. Real estate professionals, practitioners, we should always be doing what's best for our clients. But our approach is we're directing people to send an email. The staff gets it in replies and copies the listing agent of the property. And we have a very specific reply that answers in a very specific manner. Now, for the sellers that aren't offering, we have a separate email. And that one pretty much says, seller's not proactively offering, but hey, they understand. We actually created emails and texts for when an agent is asked, just to be a little more systematic in the way that you explain how much compensation is being offered, if any. The conversations about compensation are constant now. It's the norm. Just ask, is your seller offering any compensation? As a real estate agent, no matter where you are, you can counter not just price, not just closing date, any terms. My recommendation is when you counter with the right language. When a buyer and a seller sign a purchase agreement, who is the parties to that purchase agreement? Buyer, seller. Each way we have a compensation form. I'm going to show you those shortly, but this should help you on which route you want to go. Now we're going to go over what I think is going to become the most common way for compensation to be negotiated and compensation to be paid in our industry moving forward. I hope you're excited. I hope you're not intimidated. I hope you are ready. I hope you're completely ready to get out there, represent your clients, do what's in their best interest, do what's best for them, follow your fiduciary duties, and actually get paid.